Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Earth signs dominant in a natal chart. Now, everybody's got different interpretations for majority or preponderance of planets in a particular element or quality or what have you. I'm just saying, if you have more Earth signs than anything else, whether it's 5 or 6 or what have you, that's what I'm referring to. So if you have, let's say, 5 planets in Earth, and you had 4 in air, 2 in water, 1 in fire, the majority of your planets and influences would be in Earth. And I'm counting the ascendant and midheaven as well, so you have the 10 planets, MC ascendant, there's 12 total. So anyway, let me get started. First thing, if somebody has majority of their energies in their chart in Earth, it could emphasize great pragmatism, practicality. The person is likely to be very premeditative, have good economical sense, be very financially oriented. This person can be very conservative. There might be a certain rigidity to the nature due to maybe the conservatism. Now, it's not to say that these people can't be innovative or revolutionary, but the thing is, these people often may have ideas that are new and different from time to time. However, there's got to be some pragmatic or practical quality to it. Now, as far as people having Earth signs dominant in their chart, they're often very prudent, very careful and cautious. These people often want to maximize their dollar and get the most for their money, the best bang for the buck, so to speak. I mean, I have Taurus rising. I understand somewhat. The majority of my energies are not in Earth, but I have Taurus rising and Saturn in Taurus, and also South Node Pluto in Virgo. Now, the Pluto in Virgo is generational, but still I have certain, I think, economical, as far as the way I go about things. I could be somewhat frugal, and I'm not exactly known as an extravagant person or one that generally likes to splurge. People with a lot of majority of their influences, energies, and Earth, being premeditative, they're not. You won't find many of these people being like compulsive or reckless gamblers. They're not really that daring or audacious. They're about planning and thinking, plotting ahead. Not really. They're not one to really go out and really splurge like on the lottery or something, but there is the strong economical sense. These people can often be good in finance, good bankers, be very shrewd in stock markets, in business, even like real estate, things that they feel that have that they can consistently make money at. These people can have very good financial acumen. Taurus, I think, just really likes money for the sake of it, can be very acquisitive. You have Capricorn, who can be very business savvy. Virgo is just very industrious, and Virgo, though they might not always make an overabundance of money, I'm not saying all Virgos, but in the case where Virgo doesn't make a lot of money, they really have that ability, I think, to maximize that as far as the dollar. And they can be Virgo can be very frugal and can really, just by taking their time, saving a little here and there, that a lot of times they can be the ones that end up with a very good as far as savings for retirement. And anyway, the other thing is, you look at some people's charts. Now, Bernie Madoff, is infamous for that great grandiose Ponzi scheme. He had, I think, like 6 planets in Earth, or there were 5 in Earth, and then the midheaven in Taurus. I believe he had 4 planets in Taurus, and then the MC in Taurus. And I think some people, they can go to an extreme as far as the money thing goes. If the Earth is like, I mean, I looked at his chart, and I mean, he had Uranus in Taurus, which maybe accounts for why he was quote-unquote ingenious in as far as trying to make money. Unfortunately, it was at the expense of others, which was terrible. But it just shows sometimes the overemphasis on Earth with some people can get out of control, and in some people's charts, if they have afflicted planets in Earth, for example, that's where you can see that a little greater propensity for that. Now, Earth signs, people with a majority of planets in Earth, can also be very stable. They're not really known for fluctuations in moods in general. They may be very really tied into the earth. They might do well in earth fields such as cultivating, agriculture, gardening, landscaping, things where the earth is connected. Now, we really, it just really thought with earth signs, you have the preponderance of energies in earth. You have so much this pragmatism and practicality, and there's just that really good, often a good business sense, and there could be a strong desire to as far as planning and making money. And these people can be very good at, say, like being a financial advisor. They can, people that have majority of their energies in earth can be very thrifty. You have that money conscious thing with them. They are, the one thing about this though, and it's not to be really derisive or negative, but just being fair about this, that earth signs can be very consistent, and to some people's perception, that monotony can really be seen sometimes as boring to others, where the earth signs, they may feel, well, I'm just being consistent, I'm following in my routine, what's the big thing? And there's really nothing really strongly wrong with that, except that sometimes I think earth signs often can have difficulty maybe getting out of their quote-unquote their box, because they could be so immersed and engrossed in what they do day to day, whether it's going to work, making their money, coming home, and I think a lot of times the earth signs collectively may need to maybe be a little bit more exuberant and enthusiastic. They could often be, I think, somewhat, I mean, there's a calmness about earth signs. I mean, Virgo being ruled by Mercury, mutable sign, it can be maybe the least calm, because, well, Virgo is somewhat known as far as being, they could be pensive and somewhat a little bit worrisome. But if you have like Taurus and Capricorn, they're often very calm, very stable. And not to say Virgo isn't, but what I'm saying is that Virgo still can be a little bit known to change because of the mutable nature of it. But collectively, this group is often, I guess you could say, they're very kind of set often in their day-to-day routine. They're very set on often a regimented schedule with other people may have an aversion to. So really, we look at this, and despite the earth propensity is to be able to stick to a schedule often and be very dutiful, be very reliable, punctual, trustworthy. They can really strongly follow provisions at work, often better on average than the other elements. So one other thing I want to get before I head out is that it's interesting that a lot of you, I don't know how many of you know this, but Donald Trump has no planets in Earth. He has the MC in Taurus, though, and he has some compensation by house position. He has 2 planets in the 2nd house and 2 in the 10th. So, and his rising sign Leo is very close to Virgo. So he has a lot of Virgo degrees in his 1st house. He also has Virgo on the cusp of the 2nd. So I think it's safe to say that he's, despite only having that one influence in Earth, he still makes up for it to a certain degree with other placements or energies in his chart, and he really, as far as he's very, it's safe to say, very sagacious and very shrewd as far as an economical standpoint goes. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Earth signs dominant in a natal chart, and stay tuned next time where I'll be dissertating and talking about air signs dominant in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel, and secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.